How's it going, everyone? Nick here with ChevelleFactory. We got Kelly.
Hi, everyone.
And we're in Las Vegas. We flew here last night on a plane from Orange County, and we got here. We had just as much time to go and have dinner and have a nice little night out for me and Kelly. But this morning, we have the opportunity to go and pick up this gem right here, Legacy Series Chevelle. Out here in Vegas, we picked it up and we're driving it back. We're gonna hit the highway and we're gonna go back to Orange County and we're gonna take you guys along with it. I've got the privilege to be able to drive this car for the weekend for the big Chevelle extravaganza that starts off at Donut and Derelicts on Saturday morning, and then South OC Cars and Coffee, and then on Sunday, we're gonna be hitting up Cruising PCH. A bunch of NorCal guys are coming down, so we're gonna show you guys all that. But for today, Kelly and I are gonna hit the road and we are driving this beauty right here. This one is the Ironworks Legacy Series Chevelle. And we've got AC, we've got nice comfortable seats in it, and we're gonna just see how this thing does going through the desert, because we're trying to beat the heat. We're out here on the outskirts of Vegas and we need to get on the road. So stay tuned and we're gonna take you on the journey with us.
Okay, Nick would like to know how to pronounce the official name of this beautiful gold Chevelle. I would like to know how many of you stop at Alien Jerky in Baker on the way to or from Las Vegas?
Did you get your jerky?
I got my jerky.
I'm waiting. I want to go and go to the needle with the car so I can get some pictures of the car with the needle.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, is it placer or placer? What is it?
Placer.
Placer? This gold. This is original color, not repainted. It's how it was born, this color.
Absolutely beautiful color. Very, very unique.
Gotta get the pictures.
A little behind the scenes. It is 9 a.m. and it is 96 degrees. Very hot out here.
All right, so real quick, I'll do a quick walk around. Y'all adjusted all nicely?
Yep, ready
Comfortable?
to go.
Let's roll up these windows and put the AC on.
Yeah, it's hot out here.
Yes, we're gonna have Kelly driving the car and see what she thinks. Start her up. Let's hear it. All right, let's get going. Back on the road. We still haven't even gotten fuel. We're about 180 miles, I think, into our trip, and yeah, doing great. All right, so what do you think so far?
This is awesome. I love it.
What was the first thing that jumped out at you when you took off?
The digital gauge
you to have some fun, and it shifts real good. It's nice and positive. There's nothing sluggish about it, but you like to be able to run the gears.
I do. It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but this for a touring, all out, go out and drive, this is actually pretty nice.
This is exactly what I would love to do to my C10. But if I had a car like this, I would like to do like a manual shifter, you know. But this is so smooth, so nice. I really love it. Yeah.
Yeah, so as a cruiser,
this is
the 10-speed is awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
But more as an aggressive, go out and have fun, spirited drive, the 6-speed. The left pedal is...
I think it just depends on what you're into, what you like to do.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's different. 63?
Yeah, so 6,300 miles on this car already, and that's from the Good Guys Road Tour, the first year that they took it out, and then the second year, and then they just did the Wide Open Rallies tour with it, and then I don't know what other, you know, driving to and from, but, you know, over 6,000 miles already on this car.
Just the stretch, picking up some tire noise, but I barely tapped the brakes just to slow down a little bit, and it stops. I am like, what brakes are on this car?
This one has like 14-inch Wilwoods, 6-piston, the real nice ones, the real nice.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is I barely tap the brake, and it stops. I mean, it's really good brakes. Amazing.
Yeah. So it's boosted, not a manual brake setup.
Yeah, so for reference, on my C10, you I will tell you the thing doesn't stop.
You don't like manual
I
brakes.
absolutely hate it. You have to really push on the brake to get that thing to stop, and it still doesn't stop. So this was such a nice surprise when I barely tap the brake and it stops. Like, yeah, I love it.
How does it feel driving like lane to lane and just going down the road, tracking and stuff like that?
It's easy. I mean, for the majority of the time, if not the whole time, I've just had one hand barely on the steering wheel. The car just goes straight. You don't really have to drive it much at all. It just goes. Yeah.
It doesn't catch anything?
It doesn't. It's been really easy. Tell Roger that whatever he did to these brakes, I need this in my C10. I'm so impressed with the brakes. I mean, it's just a silly little thing, but it's probably one of the most impressive things so far are these brakes. I'm obsessed. Like, they're so responsive. You barely touch it, and it is just immediate response. I absolutely love the brakes. So far, between the AC pumping as much as it is and the brakes, I think are my two favorite things.
And the heads-up display.
And the heads-up display, yeah, big win. Those are some, yeah, definite positive details that I love. But great job on the brakes, Ironworks. We finally just stopped for gas. Gonna do a little fill up here. I got to drive the last stretch, which was really cool.
So I looked it up on the map, and we left this morning, and to the destination to here from where we drove from is 199 or 201 miles, okay? So that's just what was on the map. So I didn't check it on the speedometer or on the odometer, but we're gonna put gas in it. And yeah, so let's talk about this. In these Legacy Series Chevelles, the fuel fill up is inside the trunk instead of being down here. And that's for a couple different reasons. So one, it is kind of a pain to have to kneel down and put it in that entrance for the fuel tank. So they moved it up here so you don't have to kneel down. That's one. Two, a lot of people that own Camaros, Chevelles, all the older cars that had the gas fill tank behind the license plate, always remember when you get on the gas, the fuel comes out of the actual cap. And even if you have a brand new cap, brand new seal, it always leaks out. People get all wigged out because the battery's here. And this is a cool setup because you got the battery, you got a battery tender, all inclusive with the cutoff switch. Everything's all inclusive here. So all you got to do is just plug it in and it's all ready to go. But people sometimes get freaked out because the battery is right here where you're filling up the fuel and they feel it's dangerous and what have you. But like what Roger talks about in a lot of his videos, what Roger talks about in many of his videos is that reminder is that the battery is placed usually inside the engine compartment, which has a carburetor, has fuel lines, has fuel going through the carburetor and an intake that is all fumes. So which is more safer than the other or whatnot? I don't know, but we'll let you guys decide. Let me know what you guys think about the battery being inside the trunk with the fuel inlet tube.
So when you initially told me that we were going to fly to Vegas, pick up a Chevelle, drive it from Vegas to Orange County, I'm like, oh my, all right, well, I guess we're going to have to take one for the team and just buckle up and, you know, enjoy the ride. And I did not anticipate it going this smooth. This has actually been super chill, so I'm pleasantly surprised.
It definitely wasn't a burden to drive this car.
Not at all. It's been super easy. Yeah.
So, in all honesty, there's like, we're driving and we start having good conversations and good points and talk about this car. What we're trying to do is we're trying to document this ride home from Vegas to Orange County, and we want to help people understand the experience about driving this car, because not anyone can just jump in them and go. I mean, it's not like you can go down to the dealership and experience it, right? I want to point out that, you know, we are trying to be authentic and share our experience. Very thankful to be able to experience this car with driving it back home. I mean, this has given me a lot of understanding where all these different things come together to basically formulate this final package that a lot of times people are trying to emulate in different ways. I mean, one of the things we talked about was like the seats. Like, these seats are awesome. And yes, people put these seats in a factory car, but the outcome is not the same. The outcome is your head is into the roof because you're sitting real tall, and it's just not the same experience. Let alone these seats in a factory form would be a lot more bulkier, and there's some other differences that they you know, Ironworks performs to these seats before they get this final look and the final cover to where they don't look like I mean, these seats are out of a Camaro, out of a newer generation Camaro, and they've been basically modified, as in modification of the form of the foam and then obviously the seat cover to emulate a factory seat and style, but the mechanisms underneath the seat have not been stripped out or changed. So we still have full adjustment on the lower seat and on the backrest seat, and then we haven't even talked about that the seat heaters are still working on these seats, which is something else that I hadn't even told you about.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there's a button on the dash, and,
wow.
and yeah, so that's also another cool factor. But you know, people talk about, oh, I can build that cheaper. You can build all this stuff cheaper. You're just not going to get the same outcome. And not to say that the outcome isn't going to be, you know, warranted of what you're spending. I mean, you can still get a pretty cool outcome. We were just talking about, you know, the older LS3 70 Chevelle with the black top, the vinyl top that I used to have. You know, Kelly's drove it multiple times. I drove it a bunch all over the place. We have a lot of seat time in that car, and that car was a great car for the money. It was a lot of car for the money. It had all the suspension redone, all new bolt-on parts, all the best of the best that I could find to bolt onto that factory chassis, and we did get a good outcome for the dollar figure. But like, the difference is, like, when we're going down the road in this car, this suspension is at a 0 point of ride height, so we're not experiencing we haven't once experienced this car bottoming out. We have not, you know, at all experienced where, you know, on the old car we would hit a G out and you would have to hold the steering wheel, because yes, it drove straight, but it kind of wandered a little bit because the suspension geometry was not as prime compared to this. So again, you don't have to do any of this stuff. It's just depends on where you want to fall on the outcome. Do you want a more superior driving outcome compared to what you get with a stock car or a modified stock car? I mean, some people like that too. I even talked about this before. Some people love the fact that they've got a carbureted big block. They're going to drive it for 10, 20 miles around on the weekend and have to go back and tinker with it on Sunday night, Monday throughout the week. That they have pleasure doing that. That is something that they love to do, and you're not going to take that away from them or sell them out of that package. They love to tinker, and someone possibly that doesn't have a completely painted car, or they love the experience of just tinkering on the car, and that is a great thing about these classic cars. But then there's other people that want a better experience in the direction of what they personally want, and they're willing to spend the money on it. And this is where you start to get into that upper echelon of like, well, if you really, really want it, they have a package and they have product that is all formulated to give you that outcome. So I just wanted to touch on some of that. This clip started off talking about how Kelly, you know, I have to like tell her, hey, let's record that because it was great. You know, we talked about a lot of great things openly, and we wish we would have caught it. So we tried to, you know, spark that conversation again. But she's doing good. She's my passenger. She's doing good. She didn't have to take one for the team because this is not like driving our blue car. That's for damn sure. But yeah, we're almost home and we're doing good. We're in Corona right now, and it's been a great experience so far. I did talk to Roger and I gave him the math of the fuel, the miles and how much fuel I put in the car, and I came up with about 16 miles per gallon. He doesn't feel I had a full tank. He said that it was filled up and then the owner of the car went and drove it and put about 50 miles on the car. So I'm not sure exactly what that equates, how full it was compared to how I filled it, but on the last road tour that Roger went on with this car and another black 6-speed Legacy Series Chevelle, they calculated, they did, I want to say 1,100 miles on that wide open rallies tour, and they clocked 19 miles per gallon in the car at highway speeds and spirited driving and what have you. So I would have to guess that this thing should be somewhere in the higher range, in that 18, 19, 21 range. At the end of the day, it's still all great mileage. I mean, we can't be picky. These aren't new cars that you're going to try to buy off the showroom floor to go and commute in and stuff like that. So it is what it is. I wanted to throw that in there. Newport Beach, almost home, almost home. Ready for lunch?
Absolutely, I'm hungry.
Now we're in PCH, going northbound to Huntington Beach, and we're going to conclude the video up here. I got a little spot that I want to go to and walk around the car, but 270 miles through the desert, no tools, jumped in the car, nice AC, great seats. I mean, it's been a nice ride. Definitely a lot different than my original true SS car that's got a 396 and a 3-speed in it. Definitely not the same, you know, experience at all. So definitely liking this one. We're going to enjoy PCH here until we get to the point that we want to film the car at the final destination for today's video.
I just have to add that we've been talking a lot about the air conditioner the whole time, but the best part about being home is the windows being open.
So right now we're at Huntington Beach on PCH, in a little favorite spot that we like to come and take pictures of the car and whatnot. I want to close this video out. I want to share some information about this car, just to give you the history and the depth of what we're looking at here, because to some it's just a Chevelle. To guys like myself and my wife, we love knowing the history and whatnot. So again, 270 miles from Vegas to Huntington Beach, Newport, where we live, and flawless drive. It was great. Like I said, we've already talked enough about the car, inside the car, but I want to give you some history. So this car started off as a 1971 Chevelle that was purchased on Bring a Trailer by the current owner right now. And the car originally came from Pennsylvania, and from what it says here on the listing, I'm going off the listing real quick here to share some of this information. It was purchased at a dealership in, what was it called?
Monroeville? Monroeville.
Yeah, what she said. And the car was purchased by, I don't know if it was a third or second owner. It wasn't the original owner, but the person that listed it on Bring a Trailer listed it from Pennsylvania, and that's where the car came from. And as you can see it, this is how the car was purchased, as in like the body. We'll talk about what's underneath this body, but this is original paint. And the car on the listing I'm looking at here, it was stated to have 18,000 miles on it when it was purchased about 2.5 years ago by the current owner, before it went into Ironworks to have all this stuff done to it. So 18,000 miles. This is original paint. There is a couple little scuffs on it. It's not in like pristine perfect, but it is in definitely great condition. And they opted not to change the hood to an SS hood. This was an original 350 Malibu car with the black vinyl top. None of that has been changed on this car, which is really cool, to say the least, because like right here, this right here going on, that's all original. Like that's not new. That's how the car was purchased, but it's in great condition. No damage to any of the car or anything like that. So like I said, 18,000 miles. It was purchased out of Pennsylvania and then shipped here to California, and that's when Ironworks took over the project and started tearing into the car. And they've done what you see here, which is called their Legacy Series Chevelle. Also, real quick, I want to note, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but Glacier Gold, I believe, is the color. Number 53, that's what's listed on the listing on Bring a Trailer. I'm not sure if that's correct. So let's get into the build here real quick. So what we haven't shown at all, you've got a crate engine, LT4 GM crate engine. This is all stock. There's nothing done to it other than it's been dressed up, the engine's been painted, and you know, some of the wiring and the hoses and stuff like that have been ran a little bit tighter and in a nicer direction. But other than that, you're looking at a direct crate engine from GM. And behind that engine is a GM 10-speed. Now, the only thing that's been done to it performance-wise, it does have a cold intake in it, and then they've done some tuning. It hasn't been dyno tuned. Ironworks doesn't believe in like pushing out the highest horsepower number. They like to be tuned driving. So seat of your pants performance, they're not looking for the numbers. They want to be able to drive these cars long distance and just feel the performance in that way, seat of your pants. So obviously you're looking at you know, a lot of different things have been changed here. The only thing that's currently factory still on this car are obviously the fenders and the core support right here. From what I understand, other than that, this whole top section's all billet aluminum. This radiator's all new. These inner fender wells, these right here are in satin black, and they kind of look like they would be metal, but those are actually carbon fiber that have been painted satin black to blend in. This firewall has been basically a whole new smoothed out firewall with a nice little press in them to give a little bit of indentation to style and whatnot. Stance wise, if maybe we take a step back, stance, this car looks hammered and lowered, which it is in the stance is lowered, but the suspension's not lowered. The suspension is actually at perfect ride height, so you have the most amount of up travel and droop travel. So while we were going down the road, I had talked about how the car doesn't seem like it's G'ing out and hitting the compression stops and acting all weird and everything. This car has full suspension travel, so when it G outs, it's not bottoming out the suspension and acting all weird and whatnot. So that's just a good positive thing. You got some 20s in the back, you got 19s up front. These are high performance tires. They're 345 30 20s in the rear. The front, if we look over here, these front tires, again, you have aggressive tires. But one thing that I want to note, these are 285 35 19s. This is usually like maybe in the direction of what you would see in the back of a lot of these cars with a wide 10-inch wide wheel. you have them up front. So this is a lot of tire width to be contacting on the ground. And for as much as these tires, they're that wide, as wide as they are, I gotta tell you, it is really, really a great experience driving it and not feeling like you have this, you don't really feel like you have this wide of a tire up front, I tell you that much. And then these wheel wells that I talked about earlier, I just want to note also, I don't know if you can really see it, but at this ride height here, you have a bunch of room still in here. So these carbon fiber inner fender wells, the purpose of these are to where the wheel well is higher so the tire can go in further, and then on the factories they swoop in right away, so the tire usually on the inside here will rub. Well, these ones go up further and then go over, so the tire has more room to travel up and not bottom out on the wheel well. And then with that, because you have such a wide tire and the new suspension from the chassis manufacturer, you got to be able to turn, and a lot of factory wheel wells, the tire will rub on the inside, and these are wider inbound further, so you have full turning radius and full stroke of the suspension without any type of tire rubbing, which is, again, if you own a Chevelle and you've lowered it and put performance suspension like bolt-on stuff on it, the wheel well is usually the first scenario that you have to start trying to figure out what to do with, because the tires rub right away, and that deters you away from being able to go as low as what you see here. You can't even get this low properly on a factory chassis car. If a factory chassis car was anywhere near this low, the suspension would be basically collapsed out and running on the bump stops, if not really close to it. So the ride would be really harsh, and the geometry would be all screwed up and everything. So that's one thing to also know. You can't properly get a factory car this low, but the way that they're achieving that is with this aftermarket chassis that in the front is obviously independent upper and lower control arms, and in the rear is an IRS, independent rear suspension, just like you would see in the newer Camaros and what have you. You've got some aftermarket projector lamps that look modified, but they're not completely out of range. They are made by JBL Speaker, I believe. They make those. And then down here, this lower valance is not plastic. This is actually metal, and Ironworks sells these on their website. They're all hand fabricated and really nice and clean and contoured to the bumper perfectly. All right, jumping back in, I want to go over a few things about this car. And everything I'm describing, if you guys want more information, Ironworks does a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of things on social media that shows off these cars. But from my opinion, or my point of view, what I want to show you guys that is a real big standout is that when you look at this interior, it looks very, very factory-ish. You can, if you're not a real like in-depth Chevelle person, you probably couldn't pick this apart and understand what's changed on it. But let's go over some of the changes, design characteristics that Ironworks has put into this. So this whole section, this looks factory, this black with this chrome. Well, it does look factory, and they emulated it on purpose to keep the style and everything the same. But this whole section has been redesigned in CAD and is out of a solid chunk of aluminum. So all this cutouts and these features, they're not grafted into the factory plastic. It is actually a billet section. And so if you are familiar with Chevelles, these plastic dashes sometimes move around and creak around and stuff like that. And I will say, all this right here is all factory. And this is actually not even just factory, but this right here, this lower section, this door and this plastic lower section is actually the original lower dash from this car. They didn't change it out and get an aftermarket one or a new one or anything. They utilized a factory one. So getting back to this billet section is actually bolted into this dash, and then they have a dash bar that runs across that affixes from one side of the car to the other, and that gives it more mounting positions to hold this dash in place. So I got a little bit of a movement over there, but that's on the pad. But this, I mean, it's solid. So this is bolted to that bar, and then the other cool thing is that They're really, really meticulous on how they lay out all their wiring and everything. You'll have to go over to their website or up to their YouTube and see some of the videos. But with this pad off, that bar houses the Dakota Digital brain, the main brain for all the window switches, the ECU, and a bunch of other stuff. And as you can see here, these are Dakota Digital gauges, which let me light them up real quick here. These gauges, they look very similar to factory, but when they light up, you have what they call a heads-up display for the speedometer. All this is all digital and really nice backlighting and everything that you have with it. And then from there, you'll see on this side here, this is all redesigned, and this is a new switch system that they use for the windshield wipers and for the headlight, because again, as a lot of you Chevelle owners know, those are two switches that are not upgradable, and back in '70 they just didn't have the best switches to be able to, a lot of times they go out. The windshield wiper switch and the headlight switch are real finicky and they go out. And as you can see, the AC outlet has been all redesigned and everything too. You have a new piece for the radio, which is a Bluetooth radio, and then some more outlets for the AC. That side over there is utilizing the factory AC outlet. The car has vintage air. The vintage air controls are down here in the center console. And then you have your boost gauge and your battery gauge. These switches right here are for the windows. They have electric windows. This whole center console right here, this whole console housing is carbon fiber. Also too, this dash is carbon fiber, but it's got a wrap, so it's all vinyl wrapped. And then down here, this is all painted. This center section is all billet aluminum, and then this right here is all billet aluminum. You have the Legacy Series steering wheel. This is offered on the website. You can buy these for any of your cars that you want to replicate something like this. And then this one has paddle shifts because it's got the GM 10-speed in it. And so the paddle shifts are actually functionable, downshift, upshift, and everything else. And then let's go over to, we'll go over to the door panels real quick. I'll come over on that side. You have, again, these are, all the panels are all carbon fiber. And then you have these inset pieces that are billet aluminum, and then they have, I think, vinyl on the center part to make it black. This is all painted right here, and this is to replicate the factory vibe and look, but it's all upgraded. I mean, it's all to new style of design on how things. This panel's magnetized to the door panel itself. This door pull has a internal base that bolts to the door that's billet aluminum, and then this is a cover, and this is a cover, but you have a nice strong pull. And then this right here is a speaker grill that is also a two-piece outer piece right here, and then the inside grill, and that houses a speaker if you want to do a speaker up front. And then also you have a speaker available to go into the kick panel down below over there too. We talked a lot about the seats on this car, and you know, obviously now we're not driving it, so you can see real quick here. These are newer style, newer generation Camaro seats that are electric and have AC and heated seats. The AC is not functional anymore, but the heat, they did keep the heated seat. But as I was saying in some of my previous sections of the video, you wouldn't even tell that these are newer style Camaro seats, because they basically tear them down and then they reshape the back and the bottom side just a little bit different, to a different, you know, feel and curvature to it. And then they cover them with these seat covers that look like the original type of style and vibe. And then down here they have carbon fiber panels. Still have the functionality of the forward, back, up and down, the back. I mean, everything's still there. And then obviously you have it all wrapped up with some seat belts that have a shoulder harness, which makes it really nice. I think this is something that we might look at for my Chevelle in the near future. The seat combo still continues to the back, as you can see here. This is a factory rear seat, upper and lower section, and then it's all recovered. The door panels, quarter panels on the back side too, and the back windows are electric as well. So, you know, just going over some of the details on this car.
It's a beautiful car. Forge line wheels that are replicating the factory hubcap style rally wheels. I mean, just a insanely awesome looking car.
So I just want to bring this to a conclusion. Just drove it, had a really fun time with it, and if you are paying attention to the channel and or my social media, the reason why I have this car is to get to drive it from Nevada to California, to have some seat time in it for myself, but then also I'm getting to use it for the weekend. There's a big Chevelle meet for Saturday and Sunday. We have Cruising PCH happening on Sunday on July 20th, and then on Saturday, July 19th. You'll probably be seeing this video after that whole thing, but that's why I have the car, because I'm gonna drive it for the weekend, get to show it to a few people that have been looking at these cars, wondering about them, and even showing it and introducing it to some new people that possibly didn't even know about the car. So if you guys have any questions about it, feel free to let me know. I'll do the best I can to answer the questions, and or you can check out Ironworks Speed and Customs, their Instagram, their Facebook, their YouTube, and you can go follow them. They put out a lot of videos on that, on their stuff, on their builds, whether it's these Legacy Series Chevelles and or any of the other Chevelles or cars that they're trucks, everything else that they're building in their shop. My name is Nick. This lovely woman right here is my sidekick for this trip, and she did really well. We had a lot of fun. We got to go to dinner last night, and now we're back home and we're wrapping up this video. We'll see you guys on the next video, right?
We'll see you. Yeah.
I want to hear it. Do it.
No.
Do it. Do it. You got to do it. You did it last time.
See you later.